Hi, Bill Maher here, reminding you that it only takes 1 minute and 34 seconds to register to vote. Hey, that's just enough time for a few new rules. So how about this? I'll do the rules, you do the registering. Okay, new rule. In the interest of creating a more honest transaction, waiters must stop saying, "You can pay that check whenever you're ready," and just come right out and say, "Please get the fuck out." New rule, now that the Chinese have announced that an apocalyptic meteor with the power of 3 billion atomic bombs is hurtling towards Earth, their restaurant owners have to lighten up and allow substitutions. New rule, let's all show a little class and give Brad and Angelina their privacy during the divorce. If you can't do it for two decent, talented people, at least think of their children. Also, Taylor Swift should stop crawling up the rain gutter outside Brad's hotel. You know, she's man-hungry. Okay, kidding aside, now more than ever, it's important that you register and vote. Click the link and get it done. And look on the bright side. Finishing in just over a minute and a half will make you feel like a teenager again. And finally, new rule, next time Apple wants to do something truly innovative and really think different, they should try not releasing a new phone. Because somebody has to teach Americans that we don't always have to have something newer, better every year. Or in the case of our upside-down economic system, every quarter. The only people who really need you to get a new phone every year are the shareholders. But just because they need to sell it so they can jerk off the stock price doesn't mean you have to stand in that nerd line and buy it. You're not early adapting. In fact, quite the opposite. You're taking too long to catch on. Now, before we go any further, I know what the people on the nerd line are thinking. Oh, Bill, how can you say the iPhone 7 is the same as the 6? The old phone had an A9 processor and a camera with an aperture of 2.2, and the new one has an A10 and a 1.8. Sorry, not sorry. And the old phone weighed 143 grams, the new one 138. I guess you could keep lugging around a 143-gram phone in your pocket if you want your ass to stick out like black china. You like the way I channel the nerd in my head? Okay. Yeah. All right.
So
I get it. I get it. The new phone, a thing of wonder. They made the camera work better in low light, which, let's face it, is only going to encourage Anthony Weiner. But the question I'm asking is, do your friends really need clearer pictures of your lunch? You've already got in your hand a device that has all your email, all your music, the internet, GPS, takes pictures, gets you laid, gets you a car and driver when you're drunk, films cops when they shoot you. And oh yeah, it's a phone. It does everything but scratch your nuts for you, and I'm sure there's an app for that. It has Pokemon Go and Grindr, an app which enables guys to Pokemon and go. So why do I keep seeing headlines like, "Why Apple needs a new hit"? The bad news on Apple's stock is only beginning. Is a new iPhone enough to snap Apple's sales slump? Sales slump. Since 2007, that phone has made over $621 billion. To put that into perspective, take the amount of money Donald Trump has given to charity and add $621 billion. Americans keep asking, why doesn't our economy work for people like me? Because it's not designed to. Because somewhere along the way, we bought into this insane idea that everything always has to get bigger, especially sales. Having a really good year and then just repeating it, not good enough. In corporate America, the stock market is the tail that wags the dog. Growth, holy growth is the only thing that ever matters. Better than last quarter. Beat expectations. Eat more hamburgers. For Apple, revolutionizing the world wasn't enough. That was last quarter. And it's not just them, it's every company. Do you ever wonder, for example, why shaving needs to keep reinventing itself? Men used to shave with a sharp rock, and Keanu Reeves still does. Then there was the straight razor, then the single blade, then the double blade razor, 3 blades, and now the quattro. Let me tell you something, if you've got something on your face that doesn't come off after 3 blades, that's not a whisker, that's a tumor. Or look at that Wells Fargo scandal. It's that very pressure for growth, constant, endless growth, even when you're filthy rich, that led them into a crime where they cheated and deceived their customers. Now, fortunately, Elizabeth Warren's Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found out and put a stop to it, or as I see it, Cowboy 0, Indians 1. First up, she is president and CEO of the polling company and campaign manager for you-know-who, Mr. Donald Trump. We thank her for being here. Kellyanne Conway is joining us by satellite. Hey.
Hey, Phil.
Kellyanne, first of all, I have to thank you. You have been doing our show for over 20 years. You were one of our original blonde conservatives, along with Ann Coulter, who's still a friend of mine, to the consternation of many. But you did not give up on us now that you have become Donald Trump's campaign manager. You stuck it out, and I thank you for being here.
I'm happy to go into...
And I must say I have mixed emotions. First of all, you are enabling pure evil, but...
Come on, Bill.
On the other hand, I'm like so proud of you. I mean, you started here, you were just a child star on our show, and now you're perhaps the most important person in the world because you seem to be the only person who's been able to tame Donald Trump. Many have tried, but only you were able to pull that sword out of the stone. How did you do it?
Well, I don't see it that way. I think, look, I walk in the Trump Tower every day to the campaign, and I'm quickly reminded that Donald Trump did very well for himself long before I arrived. I just feel like every leader needs the right environment, the right players around them for them to be them. And he's out there showcasing his generosity, I think his great sense of humor, his love of the country and of people. And, you know, Bill... Hold on.
You're so good at what you do.
Hey, no, as are you.
That's it. You're so good. I'm so verklempt that you. But plainly, you know.
This Catholic girl from Jersey knows what that means. But look, I just want to tell you one thing: that you and I have been talking for over 2 decades now, which is a real pleasure and a privilege. Thank you for calling me your friend and for giving me a platform with all those swing voters in your audience tonight.
There are.
I wanted to.
No. I mean, there are. There are.
Okay, good. Well, we're persuading them.
We have a much bigger audience than all the other stupid shows that the other politicians do.
And speaking of politicians, Bill, that's what I wanted to say to you.
And I know Donald Trump, because of you, is trying to reach those suburban people. That's our audience. And some of them are on the fence. And that's why I heard today Donald Trump encouraged you to do this show.
He did. I wanted to tell you that. He said to say hello. When he heard I was invited, he said, you have to go on that show. That is true. He did.
Okay. Well,
and
many
politicians are afraid to go on your show, but he's not a politician. I actually didn't hear that.
You know, he sued me once.
He did? How'd that go?
Well, as soon as a judge saw it, of course, he laughed and threw it out of court.
Hey, Bill. I'll tell you who's not laughing, though. I got to tell you who's not laughing. I've been to these rallies. I've been to these fairs. This guy has really created a movement, and people feel like they're part of it. And I want to tell you, you and I have been talking for 2 decades about the problem with politicians. This guy's an outsider, a disruptor, a change maker, and he's not running for the reason many people run in politics, which is, it's my turn, I'm next in line, I want money, fame, status, power. He already had all of that. And he and his family are making tremendous sacrifices just to do this. And when I travel around with him, people don't stop him, Bill, and say, I liked you on The Apprentice, or I want your autograph. They say, we need jobs in this state, or please save our country. I know you don't like that, but that's what the people say, and we have to respect people. I'm sure they're watching tonight.
Well, I don't have to respect all the people. I don't.
You do.
And I don't. No, I don't have to respect all the people. I mean, Hillary was right when she called a lot of his supporters deplorable, because a lot of what they believe is deplorable. But we won't even get into that. But I mean,
wrong. But I'm glad we saw her true feelings for once. She doesn't really give them. By the way, she said deplorable just about 12 hours after her campaign said she's going to become more uplifting and aspirational so the voters can see what's in her heart amidst all the cacophony and noise. And what has she done ever since? She's been negative, negative, negative. The Democratic Party I grew up in was always very uplifting and aspirational. They elevated and elected people like JFK and Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. Her message is anti-Trump. She doesn't have a positive message.
If you were running against Donald Trump, your message would be anti-Trump, too. And by the way, you say, at least she sticks to the facts in her anti-message. Donald Trump has said Hillary will repeal the Second Amendment. Is that your understanding of what she has said in the past? He said she wants to release all violent criminals from jail. She wants to release all of them. Is that what you've heard her say? She wants to repeal the Second Amendment and release violent criminals?
She has actually said that she doesn't like the Heller decision, which was a Supreme Court decision that held that individuals have a private right to bear arms under the Second Amendment. She's pretty hostile to that. She actually has been very critical of President Obama because she thinks he hasn't gone far enough on open borders, and he's deported many people in this country. So, look, Bill, you in 1 hour show, you cover more issues and more substance than she covers in a month. She doesn't talk about issues. Okay. When's the last time she gave a speech on taxes, on the middle class, on education, on health care? She just doesn't do it.
All right, I don't have time to go through all of his lies. We only have an hour. But
I can bat them all down. Go. Let's do it. Come on, Bill.
But let's just divide it for the moment between the scary and the false. Now, let's start with the scary. Hillary said at the end of her convention speech, you can't trust a guy who can be baited with a tweet with nuclear weapons. Okay, just in the last couple of weeks, what he has said is Iranian sailors have made obscene gestures at our boats, so we should blow them out of the water. And that when the Chinese didn't provide the proper red carpet when Obama landed there, he would turn the plane around. Isn't she right? Is he really a man who has the temperament? Honestly, Kellyanne, 20 years of friendship. Is she really the person? Is he the person to be in the Oval Office?
Yes. And by the way, speaking of baited, he is occupying serious real estate in her head. I mean, who's been losing in the polls? Who seems very rattled and not very nimble off of her script these days? As you said in your monologue, what the heck happened? You said it a little bit differently, but I'll clean it up. What the heck happened? I mean, she had this in the bag. Every story was, look at the polls, the race is over. Look at the polls, the race is over. So let's look at the polls now 4 or 5 weeks later. We're winning in some of these swing states that Mitt Romney lost, where she was way ahead, because she thought it would just be a complete blowout, that she just had to bide her time, sit on her lead, wait out the clock. She tried to do that against Bernie Sanders. He won 22 states. She tried to do it against Barack Obama in 2008, and he whooped her and he won. Right. And so I actually think we're going to win, Bill. You know it. You feel it. I think you're getting nervous.
Oh, I am getting nervous. But it's not because Trump is good. It's because people are stupid. That's why I'm getting nervous.
That's something Hillary would say. that's something
I'll tell you why I'm getting nervous, and I'll do it with a Donald Trump quote from The Art of the Deal. He said, "I play to people's fantasies. People want to believe that something is the biggest and the greatest and the most spectacular. I call it truthful hyperbole. I call it lying." Yes. Here are some lies. I don't know anything about David Duke. Utter lie. Vladimir Putin and I are best friends. He never met him. He got a letter from the NFL, which was proved never happened. He gave money to the veterans when he didn't. I was against the Iraq war when he plainly, it's on tape, said he was not. How do you answer to the fact that this man just says whatever he wants at the moment, in the moment, to get whatever point he wants across, regardless of the facts?
That's not true. You're cherry-picking certain things he said. And on the Iraq War, the timeline is very clear. Well, hold on. He was on Howard Stern's radio show as a private citizen, and Stern asked him, so, hey, should we invade Iraq? What do you think? And he said, well, I guess so. Hillary Clinton proudly went down into the well of the United States Senate and cast her vote in favor of the Iraq War. And by the way, she's been a hawk for many years. The Wall Street Journal wrote about it just this week, that she's always been an interventionist. So the Democrats may not like that. I know you're stuck with a lemon here with 53 days to go, and we're surging, and I'm sorry for that, because she has never been somebody who recaptures the momentum. We saw her fall apart in 2008. We saw Bernie Sanders win 22 states and millions of voters just a couple of months ago, Bill. We see Gary Johnson and, in fact, Jill Stein taking votes away from her. She's floundering at 42, 44%. The question is why, and the answer is very simple. A majority of Americans think that she doesn't tell the truth. She's not honest or trustworthy, and a majority don't quite like her. If she does win, she will make history, but not because of her gender-only bill.
Okay, but you're not her.
Never elected a president that a majority of Americans felt was dishonest and untrustworthy.
Okay, but you're not her campaign manager. You're Donald Trump's campaign. I'm
all for a female president, but not that one. I don't think it's a hypothetical. It's Hillary.
But also, I mean, in the past, you've worked for people like Newt Gingrich, Fred Thompson, Jack Kemp. I don't agree with a lot of what they say, but they're all serious. Mike Pence. I was trying to keep that out of it.
Great vice president.
But, these are all serious people. You don't see a difference between them and Donald Trump. I mean, you have many children. I mean, are you okay with what your children are going to be asking you about supporting a man, enabling a man who did things like make fun of the handicapped and said John McCain wasn't a war hero?
John McCain has endorsed him, and he's endorsed him.
What's that?
They've endorsed John McCain and Donald Trump have endorsed each other in the race. They support each other in the races this year. So, but look, I have no problem saying to my children that I want the future to be better for them, and I already know what Hillary Clinton's going to do. She says it. You have to look at her website to know it. For God's sake, she doesn't even talk about the issues, and that I can't support somebody who lies for a living. I'm not going to be
lies for a living.
Yes, he does.
You just said you can't support somebody who lies for a living when I read a list of provable lies.
Let's be honest. Why is she way ahead? Where's the Democratic blue wall? Where's the electoral map? Wait a second. She's the one who has 66% of Americans saying she's not honest and she's not trustworthy. She has earned that.
But that's what people believe. That's not what is an actual lie or not. They know
she deleted the emails. They know she doesn't tell the truth about her health condition. They know that she doesn't tell the truth. Where are the 33,000 deleted emails? Where are the 17,000 emails from the Inspector General?
My last question.
Yes.
If you guys win, look me in the eye through that camera and tell me you will not actually be more nervous than if Hillary won.
Yeah. I will not be more nervous if Hillary won. I think, no, I'm with tens of millions of people in this country, Bill, who have joined the Trump movement and have said, you are our last hope, because she will tax and regulate. She called ISIS our, quote, determined enemies in her convention speech. Our determined enemies, like we're playing a soccer game against them. They're savage murderers who have killed 33,000 people, them and their predecessors, just in the last 13 years, 80% in the last 3 years. But I will tell you this. Your viewers probably don't know that you and I share a birthday, January 20th, Inauguration Day.
Inauguration Day.
Come as my guest, Bill Maher. We'll see you there.
Please keep me out of Guantanamo Bay. That's all I'm asking. Thank you, Kellyanne Conway.
Thank you.